Hey. Welcome, everybody. I'm here with my friend and guest, Jim Maurici. I think we call him James. That's your...
Oh, Jim is fine. Let's be on a friendly basis.
Well, we are on a friendly basis, so... But it's Attorney Stephen Leahy. Well, most people don't call me Stephen, but I'm okay with it.
Well, there's probably a lot of names that we won't use for you today. But, Stephen Leahy.
Some of us will use them anyway. Okay, so what we want to do is be about 2 fingers or 3 fingers away from the mic like this, Jim. So so you want to be right on top of the mic, and then we can get good sound. And
okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
How's that? Check.
Oh, that's
check.
Good. That's good. Now, Josh, it's his, if you don't sound good, it's his responsibility. Isn't that right? So he's saying talk.
Talk right now. Okay, well, Josh, don't be afraid to give me a heads up if I'm too loud, too soft, if I meander away from the microphone.
That's the one thing that
I'm good at
do.
talking. Talking to a microphone, maybe not as good.
I do a lot of that talking into microphones myself. I do a podcast every day now. And that's where I talk about cryptocurrency and stuff like that. Mostly tax stuff, though, because I'm a tax lawyer. I don't know.
Now, are you doing most of them from this
No,
studio?
do it from my office.
That's where I thought maybe I was going.
Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to get us out there to my office. So far, the radio station has let me down. Not Josh, though. Josh hasn't let me down.
Josh doesn't want to travel. What, he doesn't like?
No, we could
lunch places up near your office.
They have
out here?
They have the remote. They have the remote equipment that we can do it, and then Josh would be here, and we would be at my office. That's what we're working for. But they have a new system they're trying to put in. At least they've discussed it, and so we're trying to see if that's going to go in. My wife was asking about that. Well, you said you were going to do it from the office. Well, that was a couple of months ago.
What does she care? Does she needs you home in the afternoon?
No, she wants a nice car. That's what.
Okay. So, Josh, anytime you want to pack up your mini cam and come over to my office, we'll work it out.
Is your new office bigger, smaller, same?
A little more square footage, but it feels bigger. The old office, the old suite had a lot of odd shaped angles and such, a lot of waste. As
that whole building has kind of a
but no, we're loving it. We're in. We've been open for business. It took us. We were never really down for business because we've been working remotely in the past, but we've been back in the office full time, since September, last September. So for over a year. But as I think our phones were down for about 6 hours, and our internet was down for like 3 hours, and that was it. So you can talk about moving really 6,000 square feet, all of our stuff, literally about 500 to 600 files. The accumulation of 23 years and 20 people and all of their personal stuff. It was quite an undertaking. It
is quite. Again, I just did this in February. I thought when I moved, and just maybe we should talk about this on the show because I think it's interesting because, of course, that's my connection with you is that, we shared an office for a long time.
Right.
And then I was just your next door neighbor for another 10 years.
10 years? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I was there 10 years. I had a 10-year lease when I moved. I was at your office for 10 years before I moved. So almost to the day, about 10 years. Yeah. So it's kind of amazing. Let's do the podcast intro because it's a formality.
Thank you so much for tuning in to our podcast. Another great episode is on the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts and join Stephen and Jim as they talk about everything under the sun and have a whole lot of fun.
All right.
News, sports, movies.
It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Pop culture and puppies.
You love puppies.
It's the Watch Talk Radio podcast.
Hey, it is the Watch Talk Radio podcast here on Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. I was right on time today. I'm always on time. Ain't that right, Joliet? Today I was a little early even. So I was very happy to get everything set up. But before our guest arrived, I don't generally do that. I'm usually
good. I'm usually prepared today.
I'm really scrambling.
What a novel idea.
It is. It is. Well, you're supposed to be, I always figure I'll be here at 1:15 and I always come in at like 1:35. But I am now an expert at setting all this stuff up. So it used to take me half an hour. Now I can do it in 10 or 15 minutes. So I am an expert at it. Okay. So we're going to start the show and we're going to talk about everything under the sun, as they said here. But, and here's the one rule that we have here, Jim, is have fun. I hope we can laugh and have fun. And I know you have a serious business. You do, right?
Very serious.
Yeah, it's a serious
But I
business.
always have fun.
So sometimes
I guess it depends on your idea of having fun.
Well, that's. I guess I'm kind of a. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So last night I was
working 20-hour days and being on trial for 2 weeks and running back and forth to court is considered fun. Yeah. I consider it fun. Then I have a lot of fun.
We don't like to have too much fun though.
Huh? Because you have enough fun. If the other side makes us have fun, then we have fun. Right. We try to make it not fun for them.
Exactly, and I think and we're going to talk about that because we're going to talk about trials. We're going to talk about people that you help. We're going to talk about construction accidents. Of course, our connection, because you and I have a long connection. We're going to talk about all that on the show. So join us, won't you? And let's start the show.
Welcome to the Trust Radio Network. Join your host, attorney Stephen A. Leahy, every Saturday night at 7, right here on AM 560, as he engages in conversation with some of the most trusted professionals in all of Chicagoland. Enjoy interviews with local professionals dedicated to providing the very best products and services. Learn who they are, what they do, and most importantly, why they do it. Take a step inside the minds of some of Chicagoland's most successful business leaders and learn all there is to know every Saturday night at 7 on the Trust Radio Network. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. I guess it's evening because the show airs on Saturdays at 7 o'clock here on AM 560. The Answer. This is the Trust Radio Network, where we introduce you to trusted professionals, people you can trust when you're making important decisions, right? And there's no more important decision than what attorney you're going to hire. I mean, it's kind of fundamental. Nobody wants to hire a lawyer usually, but sometimes you have to, and then you have to have a line to the right guy, and that's what we try to provide you with. Now, remember, the show is sponsored by the Law Office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, and Opum Tax Advocates. Opum Tax Advocates helps business professionals solve complex tax issues forever. Like to change it a little bit. We help them with audits and levies, liens and garnishments, collections, unfiled tax returns, and payroll tax issues. We also help them with unfiled, I already said unfiled tax returns, mortgage foreclosures, loan modifications, bankruptcy, and other debt-related issues. So if you have any of these problems, or if you know someone who does, you should give us a call at 312-664-6649. Again, that number is 312-664-6649. You can visit us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. Now, I don't generally like to read bios, and generally our guest today has a very long bio, and I don't want to take up the whole hour reading his bio.
I slept plenty last night. I don't need to read it. And it's available on my website anyway.
It is, and I got but first I'm going to tell you that our guest today is an attorney that I've known for a long time. Actually, regular listeners of this show know that I used to be a iron worker before I became an attorney, and I was injured on the job some years ago, and that's how I met our next guest. And I got to tell you that it's very difficult to find a lawyer if one lawyer tells you, hey, you don't have a case, and then you try to call another lawyer and say, hey, will you take my case? What did he say? They say, well, he doesn't want it. Well, they don't even look at it, right? Why? Because we have too many lazy lawyers out there. But our next guest is not a lazy lawyer. He's an outstanding attorney, friend of mine. Happy to call him a friend of mine. His name is attorney Jim Maurici. See how I called you Jim and not James?
Yeah, Jim is fine. Most of my clients are on a first name basis with me. And I'm proud to say that I am Jim Maurici, the personal injury trial lawyer, and Steve Leahy's lawyer.
Yes, you are.
Steve Leahy's lawyer. With a very successful outcome.
It was.
And I think the proceeds helped pay off all your law school debt.
Oh, how I wish that were true.
I've been supporting you ever since.
Oh, how I wish that were true. Well, that wasn't too bad. But it was right when I became an attorney is when we settled the case. Again, I gotta say that I went to all of these other lawyers. I had just started law school. I met a gentleman who was in insurance, and he and I were discussing it over some cocktails after a class.
Oh, Tony.
Yes.
Right.
And I said, I was telling him my situation, and I said, I keep calling all these attorneys, and nobody wants to talk to me even about it. He said, I got a guy for you. He said he was in insurance defense, so he says, I got the guy for you, and he's put me in touch with Jim Maurici. And I contacted him, and he didn't do what all the other attorneys did, which is write you off, right? I don't even want to bother with it. They're too busy once, to do the work to find out if you have a case because somebody else said you didn't. And Jim took one above and beyond, looked into the case. It was a construction negligence case. And that's what I was going to say specializes. But you're an attorney. You can't specialize. That's what you focus on. You focus your practice on helping construction. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, because so many iron workers, right? You represented a lot of iron workers in your career.
A lot of iron workers, plumbers, pipe fitters, carpenters, laborers. All the building trades. And people who are not in the trades, any work-related injuries, automobile collisions, wrongful death incidents, products liability cases, serious ones with catastrophic injuries. So yeah, we've run the gamut. But yeah, my personal kind of forte is representing injured construction workers, and I've been doing it for 35 of my 42 years in practice. I know I started when I was 12, it's been a very, very rewarding career, helping all of those people, helping people like you and people who were hurt, much more severely than you, although your injury was significant enough. I've enjoyed it. And the firm, Morici, Longo Associates, this particular firm, in our 24th year, just had an anniversary recently, and so we're hitting it on all 8 cylinders, and I'm enjoying it as much as ever.
That's awesome, and I was one of your first clients because I came with you when you started your practice
of that firm.
Yes,
practicing.
No, not. I meant from your own firm. That's right. That's right. But when you started your own firm, I was one of your first clients, and then I moved in when I became an attorney. I moved into his office. And I rented a small office in his.
What did I say? I've been supporting Steve Leahy for 25 years.
And then after I was there for 10 years and moved around a little bit, then I got the office next door to him at 150 North Michigan, and I was there for 10 years. And so even though I wasn't in their office, we were the only ones on the floor. So it was still there. I don't like change too much, Jim.
Great relationship. Many years, and a dear friend.
It was when I left 150, it was it was a very difficult decision for me to move. I thought it was really going to be it's good. I thought it was going to be depressing, but it's actually turned out to be very good for me. I know that you guys have just recently
very
moved.
Good. Yeah, we are now occupying the Maurici Law Center at 730 West Randolph Street. We also have our satellite office on the northwest side on Northwest Highway in Edison Park. And we just, state-of-the-art space, a little more space, with a little bit of room added to grow, and we're really pumped up about it. It's was a fantastic move. All happened thanks to Patty and Karina and Olivia and Tomas and all of the others at the firm. Happened within the scope of like 40 hours. We went from having everything in crates on Michigan Avenue to having everything unpacked and working and up and running in 40 hours on Randolph
That's
Street.
quite
So,
it's quite a
730
feat.
West Randolph. Yeah.
Again, I have a smaller office, and it was quite a job just to move our office. It takes 40 hours, but all the work before that, especially after 26 years in the same joint.
A lot
23, 24? How long were you there?
23.
23
About
years.
4 days short of 23. In fact, we celebrated our 23rd anniversary of the firm at the new office, and then went out to dinner in the area and had 20 people for dinner and just the employees, and it was great.
That's
Had
good.
a really good time last Friday night.
That's great, and I think I have a affinity for your practice. And I got to tell you, when I find someone who's injured, who do I refer them to? I refer them to Jim Maurici. That's without a doubt. It's just a fact. And so when you're looking for somebody, you should you get hurt. This way you need a lawyer who does the work, and not just collect the check. Too many, I think, just want to settle. And while settlement's good because you don't have to go to trial then, but you get a better settlement if you got a guy like yourself who's a trial attorney who's going to take it to trial.
Well, it's an interesting, if I can speak to this for a moment, it's an interesting phenomenon and kind of a give and take. And so I've been a trial lawyer the entirety of my career, 7.5 years as a Cook County prosecutor, and trying many criminal jury trials and many, many bench trials. But then in 1987, became moved to the civil practice, and have been representing injured individuals in personal injury matters only exclusively since that time, since 87.
Well, let me cut you off. Let me cut you off here and give us, because we only have a couple 30 seconds. So tell us where we can find you.
Well, Google Maurici, Morici, but our firm is Maurici, Longo and Associates, and our website, mauricilongo.com, MORICI.LONGO.com. Join us on Facebook. Become our friend at MLA Chicago on Facebook, or call us at 312-372-9600.
Now, remember, if you're having tax issues, don't call Jim. Call me. 312-664-6649. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Attorney Maurici after this break on AM 560. The Answer.
I want to come back to this after the break. Okay.
Good. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to talk about, because that's exactly what I
What are we
want.
going to next move into?
Well, right now we're going to move. So sometimes I'd like to do some banter back and forth, but the problem with that is some of the best stuff I miss in between. So I want to get it on the show. So I've kind of cut back on the in between.
Good.
And that way I get you out of here faster too. Because we used to do so much in between the segments and have a lot of fun.
How much is the taped segment of it, or the streamed part?
This is about 50. The stream part's like, I do 2 shows, so
minutes
it's probably 40 minutes, something like
40
that.
minutes.
This next segment's what, Josh? 10 minutes and 8 seconds. 10 minutes and 10 minutes.
10:30.
10:30. Well, why are we're ticking?
Had we said it yet? That's
Aha.
give me a second. You got me.
10:30. Okay.
Well, I think for that 10 minutes and 30 seconds, you should do about 25% of the talking, and I should do 75%.
You should do probably more than that. So,
But it's your show.
I'm okay. No, it's highlighting you. That's what it's about. I sometimes I talk a lot, but I try to step back and let you talk.
Okay.
I'm getting better at that.
Should I kick you under the table to help you try a little better?
But I'll tell you when it's like 2 minutes. and then
Sounds good.
you'll know. I'll just because I can see the clock here, you can't see the clock.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now
you
what I
have
want
you
here,
have an unfair
what I'd like
advantage.
you to do
What?
is be cognizant of your microphone and the picture.
Well, yeah. How do I know which?
There it is.
Yeah. How do I know when we're?
Okay, so when it's green,
Honing in
I mean,
on me.
when
Oh.
it's red, this is going to be this camera, and this is this camera right now.
Oh, when it's red. Okay.
Yeah, and then that one will be red
And so,
when it switches.
so right now, the way I'm talking, the way I'm looking, how is that coming?
That's coming. That's right there.
Is too much of this apparatus? Oh, okay, that doesn't make.
I know you have to go the other way. Okay, there you go. There you go. Right there.
So is
So
this better?
that's good. Yeah, I like
Okay,
that better.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to. And does that camera, when we're both on, does that one light up red so I know?
Yes. See, and now it's red.
Where's it red at?
You can't really. It's on
Yeah,
the top.
I can't
It
see
is red.
Okay, but this one turned green. So
Okay, it
when
is
this
red.
is green, it's off. When it's red, it's hot.
That's correct.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's do the next segment, Josh. Joliet.
And now, back to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. The Answer. Real conversations with some of the most trusted professionals in Chicagoland. Once again, here's attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Welcome back to the program. I'm your host. I'm attorney Stephen A. Leahy. Like the guy just said. He just said it. He did say it. I'm here with Joliet Josh, our technical producer. And our guest today is attorney Jim Maurici. It says James, but I'm going to always call you Jim. I just know you.
Well, that's okay. I'll answer to both.
And we were talking before the break, before the interruption of our conversation. I was asking you about settlements because I was saying how some attorneys like to settle a lot, and settlement's good. So talk a little bit about settlement and how it affects the outcome.
Most cases are resolved by a settlement, by agreeable settlements, but most people don't understand how you get to settlement, and I want to talk about that. My view, and I've always been a relatively aggressive lawyer, both as a state's attorney and as a civil lawyer. I'm a trial lawyer. I try cases. From the time I do an initial intake interview with a client until a jury returns a verdict, or until it settles, everything on my mind is how am I gonna present this to the trier of fact, 12 people from our community. And that's what I do. And the way that we obtain settlements, and good settlements, big settlements for our clients, is by letting the other side know, the people in the insurance industry and on the defense bar, that we will try cases, we do try cases, and when we try cases, we punish them. We make them pay for it by larger recoveries. Settlement is always a bit of a compromise. And we compromise some, but not too much.
Well, it's always a risk. It's a risk reward thing, right?
It is. And so in 1996, for instance, I was in about the middle of the beginning part of my civil personal injury career. I tried 7 cases to verdict that year, or maybe it was 8. I was on trial for a total of 17 weeks in 1996. 8 trials, 1 verdicts in all of them for my client. And on some of them, probably got 3, 4, maybe on one, even 10 times what my client would have settled for without going to trial. So once you do something like that in 1996, for the next, 3 or 4 years, I never had to try 2 or 3 cases combined because the offers were legit offers, what they should have been giving my client. The new firm came into existence in 1998, and I guess they needed to test Jim and see if Jim could still try a case now that he had his name on the door. And so I went through another period from about around 2000 to about 2004, where I tried about 12 jury trials. And didn't win every single one of them, but I try hard cases if need be. Won most of them, and won most of them for very significant money. And so then the insurance industry kind of left me alone for a while. And but it's a cyclical thing. They have a short memory, and they have to be convinced again and again
that you're not going to rest on your laurels.
Well, or that you still have it in you, right? And so we do. And I'm not the only trial lawyer in my firm. Lisa Longo, tremendously accomplished trial lawyer, 20 years experience. Ken Lubinsky, 20 years of experience. Andrew Mizuka, I think he's a 21-year lawyer. Tomas Cabrera has tried. I think he's gotten about 18 plaintiffs' verdicts. He's a 6-year, well, no, I think he's a 7-year lawyer now. So yeah, we've got a lot of guns, and we're not afraid to try cases, and we like trying cases. That's what we are. We're trial lawyers.
Well, I think again, it's a big difference between firms, right? Some firms are known for settling cases. Some firms are known for battling and going to trial.
Well, we've had a couple, lawyers that have joined our firm because the firm they were at, they'd get a case ready for trial. They wanted to try it. There was an offer out there, maybe not a great offer, not what they wanted to accept, but the firm had to pay the bills and they had no choice. They had to settle. They were forced to settle the case. That has never happened at MLA, and as long as Maurici's name is on the door, it never will happen. I don't know, I guess I just have a hard Sicilian head, but I'm also a good, committed trial lawyer and committed to my clients. So we don't settle short. I mean, I give my clients, the parameters. It's their case, it's their business decision to make, and I give them the benefit of all of my experience, and then they make the decision. But yeah, we are a trial law firm. That being said, still 90% of the matters we handle are resolved by settlement rather than by trial. But as I say, because we try as many cases as we do, those settlements end up being a little more lucrative for the client.
Well, anytime you try a case, it's different. There's issues that are, it's a difficult matter because if it's easy, you don't really try a case.
Well, there's no perfect case. Every case has one problem or another, both on our side and the other side. There is no perfect case. And the only lawyer who's never lost the case is one who's afraid to try the hard ones. I've tried a lot of hard ones, and people look at my results, and that's reported to other lawyers in the verdict reporter and so forth. There's a lot of it listed on my website, and people say, "How much your client was awarded? How much for that under those circumstances?" But that's just because we work hard, we prepare, we spend the money we need to spend on the case. To get the evidence, marshal it, and present it in court. And so
I want you to talk a little bit about that, about what because people don't understand when attorneys like yourself, right, you do work on contingencies, right? And so who funds that, right? And so that's why it's so important to have a good firm.
Yeah.
Because talk a little bit about that.
Well, we're big enough, successful enough, been around long enough that we no insurance company outspends us. I like to say nobody outworks us. I think that's true up and down our roster, whether it's on the lawsuit side or on the workers' compensation side. Two of my partners do nothing but workers' compensation, and they do a great job of it. Some of the cases are extremely expensive. In 19, and the expenses are usually commensurate with the case. I mean, if a case is $150,000, knee strain, maybe with a little scope surgery. Not that that's a little surgery. Maybe it's $150,000, $200,000 value case. I'm not going to spend $500,000 on it. But I had a case in 2019 we resolved for $16 million, and the expenses, the outlay was about just under $500,000. And we never ask a client for any money. No one has ever gotten a bill from our firm. We front all the expenses. If a case goes south, then that's my cost of doing business. But we're big enough and successful enough to do that. I had a case back in, my children were in grade school. Maybe it was about 2004. That went the wrong way. And we had $60,000 in expenses. Shook hands with the client, and
Gave you
said,
best.
hey, gave it our best, and no one's ever gotten a bill from our firm. So the expenses are usually commensurate with the case.
But that's people that are badly injured, right? They generally don't have the fund. They couldn't fund the right.
Nobody could afford me. My clients. So we work on what's called a contingency fee. I know you know what this is, but what it means is it's contingent upon us making a recovery. And if we make a recovery, we take what I consider to be a standard 1/3 for our fees, plus we recover our actual out-of-pocket costs. Some firms are charging 40, even 50%. I've never needed to do that because we can maximize our recoveries, and I'm more concerned with our clients 2/3 than my 1/3, and it works out really well. But yeah, my clients could never afford me. I have handled a couple of matters, really, literally a couple. I can count them on one hand and still pick up a cup of coffee for an hourly rate. But my hourly rate is $600 an hour, and my clients, if I said, Steve Leahy, yes, you fell off a beam and you've got a fractured leg and whatever, come and see me in my office. And oh, by the way, bring me a retainer of $50,000.
Ain't gonna
probably
happen.
not coming
That's
in.
right.
So we're able to do that so that people have access to.
Tell us how to find you, Jim.
The best way is by calling my office, 312-372-9600. Our website, moricilongo.com, MORICILONGO.com. Pretty accessible, or just Google Jim Maurici. I'm sure
So we're going to take a break. We're going to do the Constitution segment next. We're going to talk about the 7th Amendment. Okay, so stay tuned here on AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah.
We're going to do the Constitution segment, Mr. Josh. And that feeds right into what we're talking about, the 7th Amendment. This feeds right into it. It's like I planned it that way.
You're listening to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. The Answer. Step inside the minds of some of Chicago's most successful business leaders. Here's your host, attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
From 1788 until the end of time, we the people make a resolution to defend the Constitution.
We're not going to sit here and listen to you badmouth the United States of America.
So let liberty, justice, and freedom ring. It's the Constitution segment.
Our Constitution is a document in which we, the people, tell the government what it is allowed to do.
Well, that's true. And we're going to talk. We're here today with Joliet Josh, our technical producer. I am your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and we're joined today by a friend of the show, a friend of mine, and a friend of yours, attorney Jim Maurici. And we're going to talk about the 7th Amendment. We don't get a lot of chance to talk about the 7th Amendment on this show.
Well, you're too busy always talking about the second. There's a whole bunch of amendments. I get your bet, but
that's absolutely true. And actually,
and I partake of the Second Amendment, and I live under its protection. So I don't want.
I've also been talking about the First Amendment a lot recently.
The First Amendment too. I very much obviously I support.
And the Fourth Amendment I've been talking a lot about. But let's because of bank records and stuff. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the 7th Amendment. I'm going to read the 7th Amendment. First, I better put on my glasses because I can't see. The 7th Amendment says, in suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise reexamined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law. So, Jim, I want you to talk a little bit about jury trials and the importance of a jury trial for common law, which is civil matters. Talk a little bit about that.
Juries in America, juries are a uniquely American right and are really the cornerstone of our democracy. In our society, peers, jurors, decide disputes among other peers and stand in protection of between the government and our citizens in criminal prosecutions. So it really, really is the cornerstone of our jurisprudence and all of the freedoms that we enjoy. So in the Sixth Amendment provides the right to trial by jury in criminal cases. The Seventh Amendment, and I'm talking about the U.S. Constitution right now, the Seventh Amendment, part of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, that provides, as you just read, for jury trials in civil cases, and which is where I try my cases. When I was a prosecutor, the defendants had their right to a fair trial by jury under the Sixth Amendment, and my clients now in civil practice, injured individuals, have a right to trial by jury in civil cases.
I don't think people realize that jury trials are, for civil matters, are part of the Constitution, and that's how important it is. And again, a man like yourself who tries a lot of cases in jury trials. Do you even have trials without jury? You demand a jury trial in every case, don't you?
Well, in reality, we do, but in reality, every defendant demands a jury trial too. So there are people that speak against trial by jury in civil cases, and they're mostly funded by the manufacturers and the chambers of commerce and some of the other self-interest lobbies, the insurance lobby. But that idea of peers deciding other peers' disputes is really a cornerstone of our liberty and stands between injured individuals and big corporations that I, usually find myself on the other side of. So yeah, very, very important. And not only is it guaranteed by the United States Constitution, which it is, and of course the Bill of Rights is applied to the states by the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, but we have a constitution in Illinois, and the Constitution in Illinois provides for the remedies, and it provides for trial by jury. And we have worked very hard in Illinois to preserve the trial by jury in civil cases. We've worked very hard to give juries, the same people who elect presidents and pay taxes and do everything else that's important in our society, the right to make those decisions and to sit and serve on juries. I'm happy to say that after now about a year and a half hiatus because of COVID, that we are now having the opportunity to assemble civil juries again in Cook County. A number of other court systems have been doing it for a while, but now we're starting it up again in Cook County. I can't wait. I have my first trial set for November 1st. I'm looking forward to it.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so again, I thought that. Thank you so much for that information. I think the Seventh Amendment is something that people overlook, and as a trial attorney yourself, you see firsthand, and I like the way you connected that to let the citizens decide, and not everybody else, and that's why that's what I want to get through to people out there. Give us your telephone number. How can people find you?
Call us 312-372-9600, MoriciLongo.com, and I'm happy to talk. Consultations are always free, and we do everything we can, as you mentioned earlier. We take a very aggressive approach, and we research the law, and we find causes of action where some other.
I don't want to interrupt you, but we got to go to break. We're going to take a break here on AM 560. The Answer. I don't know if I got it in there, but my friend Josh could make it happen.
And you don't never have to rush. I can always find space. So if you ever have to make sure your close is strong. Even if there's a stumble in the middle, the closing will bring it all back together. So don't ever have to rush your close.
Okay. Thank you, Josh.
He'll cut out an or an somewhere along there.
I can compress it. We can do all types of things to make that work.
He's magic. I remember the first time I did a radio commercial, and I got it back. When I got it back from the technician, I'm like, who's this guy? Because of course I took a lot of takes the first time because I have never done it before. So that I got it back and they had like Superman music in the back. Like, wow, that sounds great.
Speed it up, make you sound like one of the chipmunks. Find a second there.
So on this segment, we're going to talk about. We'll talk about anything you like if you have something. Generally, we talk about frequently asked questions, but if you want to talk about some cases, recent cases that you helped, what I like to do is talk about cases so people can see themselves and say, hey, that happened to me. That's the guy I need.
Well, I've got, lots and lots of cases on lots of scenarios, but one that I'm very proud of, we just recently resolved, because you mentioned that I represent a lot of injured construction workers, was concerning two of my clients, both local 597 pipe fitters.
Let's do it.
Who were injured.
He's laughing because
we start?
No, we haven't started yet. That's why he's laughing at me, because I'm like, let's do this. Let's put it on the show. Because once you say it once, then you try to put it back on. It doesn't work again. So you got to do it.
Well, maybe that's for your average guy.
Take two.
Josh, wait, can you straighten this guy out?
Take two.
They only pay me so much.
One man can only do so much. Right.
Now, back to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. Hear from Chicago's business leaders. Learn who they are, what they do, and why they do it. Once again, here's attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Welcome back to the program. I am your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy of Opum Tax Advocates, the sponsor of this show. If you're having some tax problems, give them a call, 312-664-6649. Or visit them on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. We're here with Joliet Josh. Jace.
You can't pronounce his first name or his last name, right? It's Joliet Josh.
It's Joliet, and I don't want to fight with you about it, but there's a reason for it. But anyway, and the intemperate man here is attorney Jim Maurici, a construction negligence, personal injury trial attorney. And he's been sharing his experience with us, and so I want you to do that again. Tell us a little bit about some of your recent cases, people that you help. I always like to hear. I like people to hear those your cases to say, "Hey, that happened to a friend of mine, or that happened to me. He's the guy I need." And so that's what I want. That's what I like to hear.
Well, a lot of scenarios where people get injured. I'm now doing an investigation of a woman who slipped and broke her hip in a convenience store that had a roof leak, and the roofing company wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, and they didn't put out cones and so forth. So she's having surgery later this week. I've got a construction worker who was caught in a confined space over the summer, very hot day, and lost consciousness and suffered a degree of brain damage. And obviously people get in automobile collisions and so forth. So a lot of those scenarios are things that we handle. Right now, I've just recently concluded a case that was a pretty noteworthy, press-worthy case. Happened about 4 years ago, an explosion at the Metropolitan Water and Sanitary Reclamation District. They were reactivating a building that had some settling tanks in the lower level to settle out some, solid waste, everything that comes from our toilets. But before they were doing it, they didn't test that area in that confined space for the presence of methane gas, which is a product of, the kind of things that happen in bathrooms. Waste, right. And one of the men who failed to get a burn permit, they failed to follow their own regulations at the district, and one of their employees used a heating torch to try to loosen a bolt. And when he did, he ignited this huge, football-sized field of contained methane gas, literally blew this huge building, two-story building, off its foundation. The entirety of it collapsed. Two of my clients, local 597 pipe fitters, were caught in the collapse and seriously injured. And we just settled that for a very substantial 7-figure amount. So I'm very proud of that. Very proud of being able to do that. But we were out there a couple of days after it occurred. We had our various expert engineers there. We documented everything, laser photographs, and all kinds of
Well, this goes back to what we were talking about in a previous segment about being prepared, right, and having a firm behind you that can go out and find, do the investigation, because it takes an investigation. The other side's doing an investigation, but they're not going to share everything with you, so you have to find these facts out for your clients, don't you?
Absolutely, and that's what we do. We take a very aggressive approach from day one. Usually, sometimes even before we've actually met with the client, formally. I'll have my investigator go out to preserve information. We did that on the terrible crane injury accident that happened on the Fox River in 90. When was it?
Some time ago.
About 7 years ago, and this is the case that I tried in 2019. $16 million result. To preserve, and we get court orders against corporations to preserve, instrumentalities, in that case, the crane and all of the other appurtenances. We had it preserved by protective orders. Wall collapse case in 1992 that I resolved in 97 for $24 million. We were out there a couple days afterward, already had a court order preserving the scene, and a couple of walls collapsed on 11 construction workers up in Woodridge. And I was fortunate enough to represent all of them and made a very good recovery for them.
That's awesome.
So the investigation starting at day one, because you lose the ability to find witnesses. These days, lots of areas are under video surveillance, but they're on loops that get taped over. You want to preserve skid marks and scrapes in the pavement and pieces of debris, so that our reconstruction experts can put it all back together. So very important.
I want to just mention, because you were saying that earlier about getting the right attorney, and because it's you got to be comparable to what the injuries are and how much money it costs to put a case like that together. Again, you can be a little bit flexible when you have a fender bender maybe, but when you've been injured, critically injured, it's very important on who you get. And the recoveries speak for themselves.
Yeah, well, I'm not so concerned about the bent fenders as much as what it does to the occupants.
Exactly.
And even a collision that shows next to no damage on the vehicle, because there are so many crush zones and crumple zones and shock absorbing engineering things that are put into cars these days. People still get hurt.
So remember, give us your telephone number. Do it fast, because we're running
312-372-9600. Again, my name's Jim Maurici. Happy to talk to you.
Okay, so give Jim a call. Also, if you're having some tax problems, call Opum Tax Advocates, 312-664-6649. We're going to take one more break. We're going to come right back here on AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, I think it's we're having a good meaty exchange.
This is that's why I love
content.
I love bringing in attorneys, because it's just, I like to talk to attorneys. Like say, some people like to have fun. That's what I call fun.
For you.
That's fun
right.
for me.
That's good. I agree.
The next segment's very short. It's only 4 minutes. We're just going to kind of recap, and then we'll let you get out of here. And is there something that you wanted to talk about?
There's one thing, yeah.
Okay.
Just toss it to me.
Okay, I'll do that. He's a radio professional all of a sudden.
Yeah, I got something. I'll let you know when the time comes.
Let's do it, Josh.
And now, back to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. The Answer. Real conversations with some of the most trusted professionals in Chicagoland. Once again, here's attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Welcome back. We're here with Joliet Josh, our technical producer. And we've been joined today by a friend of the show, friend of mine, and a outstanding a trial attorney, construction negligence, personal injury. I've had a great time meeting up with you, Jim. Thanks so much for joining us, Jim Maurici.
Thank you, Steve.
Talk a little bit about because we only got a couple minutes, so tell us a little about what people should know about you.
Well, I will. I'll be happy. Lawyers are always happy to talk about themselves.
It's true.
It's all laid out on my website, moricilongo.com, so feel free to visit there. I do want to say one thing, privilege, and I guess we're going to broadcast the show maybe a week delayed. But yesterday, that shooting in Tennessee at the Kroger grocery store, and wherever you stand on any issues, my heart goes out anyway, and I know yours does, to the people that were affected by that. And I hope we're not getting into a copycat Kroger, grocery store thing.
Was there another one?
Well, it was 6 months ago in Boulder, Colorado.
I saw that.
Terrible. So, So anyway, God bless those people.
Yeah,
and
God bless
suffering.
them.
But yeah, I grew up on the north side of Chicago. I'm a lifelong
St.
Cubs
Ben's.
fan, and I want to congratulate you on your White Sox clinching. I know how dear they are to your heart, and I'm not a Sox hater. I'm a major Cubs fan, not a Sox hater, and I know you're the same. But we're big Chicago sports fans, of course, big Chicago fans. I love the city.
Has the White Sox clinched?
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't even know that.
Did they play this year? No,
I did not know that.
Even with all of my Bridgeport friends who are Sox lovers and Cubs haters, I'm a major Cubs fan, but I'm not a Sox hater, and good luck to them. And I'm going to look forward to seeing the series with.
I know you grew up over there at St. Ben's, which is
I grew up in North Side. I'm a Wrigleyville guy. I grew up in Roscoe Village. It wasn't called that, but it was. I grew up within a block of Roscoe. Lane Tech High School. After St. Benedict Grade School, DePaul University, and then the Chicago Kent College of Law. And
Chicago kid.
Yeah, Chicago kid. Been here my whole life. A big Italian family. Lots of cousins. My dad was one of 9.
Is that right?
My grandfather was one of 7, and lots of cousins that
Did
had
not know
7
that.
kids. You would have thought we were Irish. I say that.
Well, Catholic, same thing.
Yeah, Catholic. So big family. Lots of roots here, and shout out to all my friends out there, and my children. A shout out to my children. My son James, a junior at Arizona State. My son Matthew, a junior at Miami of Ohio, and my daughter. Olivia Maurici, who works at my firm.
That is awesome to work with your kids.
Yeah.
As you know, I work with my family, my wife, my mother, my family works there. So I think it's great.
Love your mother. But Olivia received her Master's of Science in Management from DePaul University's Business School.
Congratulations.
I'm very proud of my kids.
God bless them. And congratulations. And thanks so much for joining us. I had a great time today. I hope you did too. I know our audience has learned a lot. And remember, if you're having a problem, you need a lawyer to help you in a personal injury case, give us your telephone number one more time.
312-372-9600.
Or call me, 312-664-6649, and I'll put you in touch with Jim Maurici, because he's the one I go to. So join us next week here on AM 560, The Answer.
Thank you for tuning in to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560, The Answer. Be sure to join attorney Stephen A. Leahy again next Saturday night at 7 as he engages in conversations with some of the most trusted professionals in all of Chicagoland. Enjoy interviews with local professionals dedicated to providing the very best products and services. Learn who they are, what they do, and most importantly, why they do it. Take a step inside the minds of some of Chicagoland's most successful business leaders and learn all there is to know on the Trust Radio Network with your host, attorney Stephen A. Leahy. See you right back here next Saturday night at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Thanks again, Jim. Had a lot of fun today. I know we got a great information today. It was a good show. I thank you so much for coming and join us. We're gonna take a short break here. I'm gonna take a picture with Jim, and then I'll be back. So join us, won't you? Okay, Josh. Uh-oh. I got to change spots. Well, that was fun. Okay, let's change microphones. And a phony at the mic. That ain't it. Okay, Josh. I don't know. I want to pull up one story first because it's a good story. It's a lovable story. Okay, let's do the show.
Pursuant to Internal Revenue Service guidance, be advised that any federal tax advice contained in this program is not intended to be used, and it cannot be used by any person or entity for the purpose of avoiding any tax penalties that may be imposed by the Internal Revenue Service or any other U.S. federal taxing authority or agency, or promoting, marketing, or recommending to another party any transaction or matter addressed in this show. The opinions expressed by the host and the guests are their own and may not be used as authoritative advice. Any use of this material without the written consent of the host is strictly prohibited.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy, on AM 560, The Answer. Tune in every week at 5 for an informative discussion about IRS obligations, credit card debt, mortgage default, collection activity, and how to resolve these legal issues using tax resolution, debt settlement, mortgage loan modification, foreclosure defense, and bankruptcy. Your host is Stephen Leahy, and the principal at Open Tax Resolutions and the law office of Stephen Leahy, PC. Stephen is the author of Deal with Your IRS Problems Today. IRS and debt issues are serious, but there is help. There are resolutions. So get ready and take notes during the IRS Radio Hour. And now, here's your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy.
Hello, Chicago taxpayers. We are coming to you from Studio C here at AM 560 The Answer. This is the IRS Radio Hour.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Now remember, this show is sponsored by the law office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, and Opum Tax Advocates.
God bless you, Opum Tax Resolution.
Opum Tax Advocates helps business professional solve critical... What did I say before? We help business professionals solve IRS problems, complex tax issues. And we also help people with mortgage foreclosures. First, let me tell you, we help people with audits and levies, liens and garnishments, collections, unfiled tax returns, and payroll tax issues. See, when you change something, you get confused. Not confused. I get misdirected. Let's put it that way. But we also help people with mortgage foreclosures, loan modifications, bankruptcy, and other debt-related issues. So if you have any of these problems, or if you know someone who does, you should give us a call at 312-664 312-664-6649. Again, that number is 312-664-6649. You can visit us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. I am here with our technical producer, Joliet Josh, and I want to thank him so much for all the work that he does. And let's move on with the show. Review and comment on the news. It's the news roundup. See, I get it backwards. But anyway, okay, so I want to talk about the news. Actually, I was going back and forth on this because I don't generally do that on this show where I talk about news articles. And then I thought, well, maybe I should talk about this more on the blog segment because it has to do with what they call flow-through entities, like Subchapter S corporations and partnerships, and the attention that they're getting from the IRS and from Congress these days. That they really want to clamp down when they tell you that they're only going after people who make more than $400,000. That's just not true. Okay, because when they start changing the rules about how much you can take as a distribution, how much you must take as a employee. This is a tax increase, even though they don't. It's not really called a tax increase. But I wanted to call to bring some attention to a gentleman who had some speaking fees, and some of the money was some of the money was taken out, and he ran many Subchapter S companies, and he wasn't paying himself. He was paying himself as an employee, but taking most of the money as a distribution. So, the headline is Biden, who demands people pay their fair share in taxes, may owe up to $500,000 in back taxes. A report. And again, I generally don't read these, but I'm gonna go through this because I think it's important because it shows, when they tell you that it's only the people, it's only the thieves that are doing this. He's one of them. Democrat. And again, I'm not saying. I think that people should be able to take more in a distribution than they do from their as income, right? Because it should be a reasonable amount of it. You should take a reasonable amount of money as income. And the reason why that is because when you take the money as income, you have to pay Medicare tax and Social Security taxes and additional taxes on that. And so one way that I help people structure their business is to take advantage of this. But they're trying to eliminate it. But as they eliminate it, Joe Biden has been taking advantage of it. And so he tells us that it's wrong that these people are cheating everybody, yet when he does it. Biden and his First Lady Joe Biden routed more than $13 million through S corporations and counted less than $800,000 of it as salary eligible for Medicare tax, exempting the rest for what would have been a 3.8% rate. The Wall Street Journal reported. The CRS report doesn't name Biden, but analyzes cases in which the IRS won a judgment against taxpayers who paid themselves suspiciously low salaries from S corporations and counted most of the revenue as distributions exempt from Medicare tax. Tax law experts told the Post that the CRS report underscores the long-standing controversy, but that it doesn't necessarily break new ground. They say the IRS simply doesn't have the resources to make sure that all S corporations reasonably assess what counts as salary. Again, my own opinion is pay yourself a salary, a reasonable salary, take the rest as distributions. There's nothing wrong with that. But Joe Biden is the one that's trying to change that rule. He wants all of the money to be taken as a salary and no distributions. And that's just it's not fair. It's not right. Yet that's what he advocates. But when it comes to him, it's okay that he can take the distributions of $13 million or $12 million in distributions and keep the extra money. And it always amazes me of those like John Kerry who put his yacht in a more favorable place to pay less taxes, and how they take advantage of the tax, and they call them loopholes. I just call them the law. Right. And that's what I advocate for all of my clients, that you should take advantage of these rules. right? Because they're out there. And when you think, who pays the most of taxes in our society? Small companies, sole proprietors, and people who start corporations and then don't structure them correctly. Right. So I have a lot of people who they'll take a S corporation. Sometimes they'll take all distributions. Well, you can't do that. You're going to get audited and you're going to be sorry you did that. So you don't want to do that, but you don't want to take it all as a salary because you're not required to do so. It's supposed to be a reasonable salary. Yes, that leaves it up to, it's a gray area, but it's totally legal and you should do it. And I advocate for it. And again, it's always those that, I could point to our governor, Pritzker, who takes advantage of property tax laws by taking the toilets out of some buildings so he doesn't have to pay the high property taxes. So he avails himself to these laws. How could he do that? Well, he's got good advisors, tax attorneys, accountants who help him take advantage of the laws that are out there. And again, they call them loopholes. I just call it the law. So follow the law, and take advantage of these situations that are out there. Lower your tax obligations. You shouldn't be the one paying the most in taxes, right? It just isn't right. So find somebody, whether it's us or somebody, but to take advantage of the way you can structure your business in order to take advantage of the tax savings. Don't overpay your taxes. Again, do it legally. Don't cheat. I'm not advocating cheating. I am one to always pay the tax, and don't be too aggressive on deductions. But if you set your company up correctly, you can reduce your tax bill and not have to worry about trying to take deductions that you don't really that aren't really right. And I've had many clients come to me and they're skimming the top and not paying their taxes the way they should be. However, if they just would take a moment and structure their business correctly, they can avoid all of that. Pay less taxes, right? Legally, do it legally, because then you don't lose sleep at night and things. Because hey, you're just following the law, and I'm a big advocate for following the law. It's very complex, yes. But there's lawyers out there who understand it. There's accountants out there that can help you. And if your accountant isn't helping you structure your business and avoid unnecessary taxes, well, then you should find somebody else, in my opinion. And if you're thinking maybe Open Tax Advocates can help me, well, maybe you should give us a call then, right? At 312-664-6649. Again, it's 312-664-6649. Take advantage of the tax laws. They're out there. You could structure your business in such a way to pay less taxes. Take advantage of deductions that you don't take. Okay, that you're legally entitled to. But too many people don't do that, and too many people say, "Well, I'll take big deductions here, but I didn't report that," and so it evens out. To the IRS, it doesn't even out. Okay, they're not going to give you tax advantages that you don't ask for, and they're not going to put them over here where you're supposed and play games with it. So again, give us a call 312-664-6649. We're going to come right back here on AM 560. The Answer. I didn't want to make a commercial out of it, but I don't know if you heard that story. Yeah, again, the same guys who call everybody else cheaters and liars and are doing exactly what they say the cheaters and liars do. And they're just regular Americans trying to make a living. He's making $13 million in speaking fees. Unbelievable. I wonder how much of that Hunter got. None of it. Okay, so now we're going to do the blog report. So let me pull up the right. Because it's a whole different thing on my. So I got to put the background in, and then I got to put the right lower third in. Sure, it looks easy. It actually gets easier as you do it, because as I said, it used to take me a long time to set up my cameras and everything, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. Now I could do it in 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15. If my cameras cooperate. They don't always cooperate. So sometimes it's not right. I wonder if I should change. Let me. This happened last week too, because the sun starts getting on me and it's not a good picture, but I won't worry about that. I would worry more about the content than the picture. Okay, that's me though. And I'm going to talk about going to look back at here on my podcast over the week and see what's going on. Crypto's having a problem today.
Crypto's been having a problem for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, did you see what China did today?
They outlawed it.
Outlawed.
That's huge. That's huge. Luckily, I got out of crypto a few weeks back.
You know why? They see, first they thought they can use it against America, right? So to replace the dollar. But now they see they can't control it. And they're just like our government in the sense that they want to control everything. And they have a little bit more power to control it. And they just say, because our government won't have so much, couldn't just say, it's outlawed. And then it's, exactly. But we make it a little bit harder for them Biden doesn't have the authority. Now, having what's going on lately, he doesn't need the authority to do things that he does. But it would be hard to say, it's outlawed, don't do it anymore. But they're really coming down on the crypto. Bank compliance. Okay, so the big story is still the bank records. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the bank records because that's still the bank. That's still the big story. Bank privacy. I'm going to call it the financial privacy. So that's what we're going to talk about. Financial privacy. So let's do the show. Welcome back to the program. Did I forget something? Black segment? Did I miss that? Anyway, let's, now remember now, I do another show. What's that? Okay. I thought I messed it up. But I wasn't paying attention, and that's my fault. Sorry about that. Take it from the top. Take two. Oh, that's my fault because we don't do the blog segment until later in the show. That's what that's later. I get it. Again, I got a little distracted and then I try to pop up for it. Okay, let's do it. Sorry about that. Welcome back to the program. I'm your host, like the gentleman just said. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. This is the IRS Radio Hour here on AM 560 The Answer. I'm here with our technical producer, Joliet Josh. Thanks so much for what you do, Joliet. I appreciate your work. Now remember, Joliet is also our technical producer on the Trust Radio Network that airs every Saturday on this station at 7 o'clock on Saturdays. Last night we had Dahlia Saper Law, Dahlia Saper. It escaped me. How you think I would forget Dahlia but not Saper? But anyway, what a great interview that was. She's an outstanding attorney. I was so happy to have her on the show, and she shared a lot of great information. Again, is there a social media attorney? There is now, and that's Attorney Saper. She's just awesome. We had a great interview. I hope you caught it. If you didn't, you can catch it on our YouTube channel. You can catch it at watchtalkradio.com. The interview's out there. So if you missed it, get it because she's just great. Next Saturday, we have another great attorney. We have some outstanding attorneys on this show. And next week is attorney Jim Maurici. He's a good friend of mine. My attorney years ago when I was an iron worker. He helps construction negligence cases, personal injury cases, and he shares a lot of great information. He's a trial attorney. We talk a lot about the trial attorney. The next segment of the show, we're going to do the Constitution segment, where we're going to talk about the Seventh Amendment and the right to a jury trial. And Jim shares his expertise with that. And so join us again next Saturday at 7 o'clock here on AM 560 The Answer for that interview. And in the meantime, let's move forward with the show. Okay, so I didn't do my normal 20s voice. Oh, that's right, boys. That's Edward G. Robinson for those who, it's my impersonation of Edward G. Robinson, which isn't very good. But anyway, I wanted to talk about, usually we talk about what's going on in my office and cases that I've seen. But I wanted to mention about this bankruptcy privacy bill that's out there. I've been talking about this since May, maybe earlier. I looked back on my podcasts, and that's what I think that was the first time I talked about it on the show in May about the Congress going after our bank records, right? And they couch it in such terms that it sounds so innocuous. Oh, well, everybody else has to give W-2 employee information. It's only fair that everybody has to give their bank account information. And I was really surprised about how many people already think that the IRS can do this. That they can get your that they already get your banking information, and so they kind of, and they want you to think that, right? Because then you don't get up in arms about the fact that your privacy is being invaded, and they're violating, in my opinion, the Fourth Amendment. There's a couple of Supreme Court cases, and it's they've come down on both sides, I think, of this issue, and it's not a very clear issue. I can tell you that if the IRS, if the Congress gives the IRS the power and necessitates that all banking information is given to the IRS every year, that there will be lawsuits for the Fourth Amendment violations, unreasonable searches and seizures. So they're seizing your bank account without a probable cause, without any warrants or anything, subpoenas, anything. They're just going to get it every year, and they're going to review it for you. Oh, don't worry, it's not transaction by transaction. It's just the inflows and outflows, and it's not. And so what was going on though is last week the Congress had taken it out of the bill because there was such an uproar about it. And the minimum is $600. So they said, wait, that's almost, if you have a bank account, almost, I would say 99% of bank accounts have at least $600 in it or transactions a year, at least. I don't know of anybody who would have less than that. And so that was the threshold, $600. And so all of that information, now they tell us, well, it's to catch the wealthy. Well, if I only have $600 in things, bank account information going in and out of my bank account, I don't think that includes the wealthy for me. Okay. So when they tell you it's only the wealthy, that's just not true. Anyway, they took that out of the legislation just this last, over the week. And then last night, now remember this show airs on or records on Friday afternoon. And so on Thursday night,
right before my podcast, they came out and said, "Oh, we've reached a compromise. We're going to raise that amount from $600, and then so we don't target just everybody." But they never said what the number was that they were going to go to. And maybe it's 10 times that. Okay, well that's $6,000. That's still 99% of all Americans. Let's go to $10,000. Again, that's still everybody. So I don't know what number they're going to come up with, what makes it reasonable. In my mind, it's never reasonable, right? Because just because I have more money than you doesn't mean I don't have the same rights as you do. And if it's a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights, if I make less, if I only have $600 in the bank, it's a violation of my Fourth Amendment rights if I have $100,000 in my bank account. It's the same argument, and them just going up with the value is not really solving the problem. And I think all of us should be up in arms about this. And it surprises me. Again, I've been talking about it since May. Finally, about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week now, it started to get a lot of airplay, and now you see lots of articles about this and people talking about it and bringing it to our attention. Too often, our government does things without telling us what's going on, right? They put it in these big bills that, like this $3.5 trillion a bill that's going on out there, and they stick these little things in there, and it's not a little thing, but it's lost in the vastness of these. There's so many other things in it that nobody sees it, and then it's passed. It's like, well, there it is. It's in there. And again, I always say this about I like to quote our favorite Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, as you got to pass the bill to find out what's in it, because you don't know what's in it until they start coming after you and they start saying, "Oh yeah, oh no, we can get your bank records. It was in the bill." Where was it in the bill? Nobody said anything, and that's why I've been raising Cain about it. Right? I've been shouting from the rooftops, "Hey, this is what's going on." Because nobody ever wants to acknowledge that what's going on is a change of our law. There is now a federal statute called the Financial Privacy Act that was enacted in direct opposition to the Supreme Court case that said that there wasn't any Fourth Amendment protection for your bank records. And so in direct response to that Supreme Court case, there was a law enacted called the Financial Privacy Act. And that's the act they're trying to overturn with this, again, they're doing it under the table, so nobody even knows what's going on. And when they came out yesterday and said, "Oh, we reached an agreement, we're not going to do it. It's not going to be $600 level anymore." But then they don't tell you what the new level is. There's something fishy there. And of course, you got Biden and Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury, and the Commissioner of the IRS. They're all going on every talk show in the world saying how we really need this in order for fairness, because the wealthy aren't paying their fair share, and the only way we're going to know what the wealthy are paying is to go after their bank accounts, and that just makes sense. And again, there's nobody's saying that these people are doing anything wrong. They don't have any probable cause to go after their bank records, and they shouldn't be able. But again, what happens is they're not going after the rich like they tell you. They're going after everybody. They're going after you. And again, I think there's lots of things in your bank account that you don't want the IRS to know. And even if there isn't, I don't want the IRS to know. Right? I don't want them to have the power. Again, the police will tell you, if we could come in everybody's home and take a look around whenever we felt like, crime would go down. Well, at what cost, right? And a violation of our privacy and our constitutional rights. And I'm against it. That's just me. And I hope you join us. So let's raise Cain about it and object. And again, we fight the IRS every day. If you want to fight the IRS, and you need our help, you should give us a call at 312-664-6649. Again, it's 312-664-6649. The next segment, we're going to do the Constitution segment, and our friend, attorney Jim Maurici, is going to join us in that segment. We're going to talk about the Seventh Amendment. So join us, won't you, here on AM 560, The Answer. I should take more time every week and do a better job of introducing the Constitution segment with our last. Next time, too, I have to remember who was on last week. That's right. Okay, I got to shut it now. I'm in the dark in more ways than one. Okay, don't do this to me. Well, I'm looking into I talked about this on my show yesterday about the gig economy and the tax changes for them also, that now they've implemented some new rules on there. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about 1099s and the change there also, that from miscellaneous to 1099 NEC. I think it's 1099 NEC. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I am the tax man here on AM 560, The Answer, with our technical producer, Joliet Josh, and you, the audience. Well, thank you so much. I am, I've been talking, the changes, there's lots of changes coming on with the laws. And really what they're trying to do is they're trying to get everybody's income, so you can't do anything without the IRS knowing it. And I understand that you should report all your income, because that's what the law is. Some people do, for instance, if I sell something at a garage sale, I'm probably not going to report that as income. Actually, I'm selling an asset, so is it income? I probably took a loss because at a garage sale, I'm selling things less than I bought them for. So maybe there isn't a taxable event there. Again, this is where it gets silly, right? When they start nitpicking about what is and what is not taxable, what is income, what is not income. I help my friend change a flat tire and he gives me $25. Does that count? Is that income? The answer is, according to the IRS, it is income. right? And these are the kind of things that they want to catch. My kids sell lemonade, make $10. Is that income? Well, that's why they close a lot of those lemonade stands down, right? They're not following the rules. And it's, you could take this stuff to an extreme. And I think that's what we're doing now, right? We're taking these laws to an extreme. And the reason why we're taking it to an extreme is because they need the money, right? And they don't want to say that they're going to raise taxes, since they promise not to raise taxes on anybody that makes less than $400,000 a year. But we all know that that's not the reality, right? That the people who make a lot of money are never going to have to pay. Again, I think they do pay their fair share, to be honest with you. But what they call, what I'm talking about, like what President Biden would call a fair share, I don't think that will happen, right? Because they always are going to have attorneys, and the laws are going to be written in their favor. It's just the way things work. And so when they start changing the rules, they're changing them on you to get more money of your money. So, for instance, if you were what they call them gig workers, right? A gig worker is someone who works temporarily. We used to call them freelancers, right? In either Uber or Lyft or some of these shopping companies or dog walkers or whatever. A lot of people working as temporary administration assistants, temporary workers, and they don't really work for the company. So sometimes we call them 1099 employees, and 1099, they're right. You always got, if you were doing this kind of work up until this last year, you got what they call the 1099 miscellaneous, MICS, or whatever it is. And that was the 1099 miscellaneous. Now, last year, 2020, you got a 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation. So what they did is they took the 1099, and now there's 25 or more different versions of that 1099, and again, the more and more activities that you do have to be accounted for by the IRS and from many companies. It was only a couple of years ago now. Again, to me, a couple of years might have been 10 years, maybe more. But a couple of years ago, where they implemented the rule that if you paid somebody more than $600 as a non-employee, that you had to send a 1099 on that person and report it. Many people understood this to mean that, well, if I made less than $600 from that one, then I didn't have to report it. No, you still have to report it, but the person that gave you the money doesn't have to report it. And so here's another thing that's happening with gig employees is it's going to what they call the 1099K. And the 1099K now is for companies like PayPal, electronic credit cards, Venmo, companies like this. And they were required that if you did more than $20,000 or 200 transactions in those applications, then they had to report it to the IRS, again, to try to capture your income that you're getting from people. But here's what happened. They drastically lowered the amount from $20,000 to $600. So now if you do any business with PayPal, Venmo, electronic cards, debit cards, more than $600, well, then you're going to get a 1099K that's going to report all that money to the IRS, and that means that that you better account for it on your tax return, because if you don't account for it on your tax return, the IRS is going to audit you because they're going to match them, right? And this is what's going on. That's why they're trying to track all of our money, because they want to make sure that every dollar you get, you pay your taxes. Anyway, I hope that answers the question. And the question was, what's a 1099? 1099 what? That was the question. So anyway, that's what it's about. There's so many different kinds of 1099s now. And so many people get them and they don't do anything with them because they don't know what it is. And so they don't report it, and then they get an audit by the IRS. So report it, find out what it is, report it. That's what it's for. Anyway, if you have a question, though, you can call Open Tax Advocates. I answer questions without a charge at 312-664-6649. I can't tell you how many questions I get about 1099-Cs, 1099-As, all of these others. I know it gets confusing. I get it. I know what they are. You don't have to. Call us at 312-664-6649. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and finish the show here on AM 560. The Answer. $1099K, $1099 NEC, $1099C, $1099A, it's like, it's what? It's amazing. But again, that change in the law, that's not an increase in anybody's taxes. That's not an increase in, they say they're not, we're not taxed, but in the effect is going to be you're going to pay more taxes. That's the effect. And so to pretend that somehow it's only affecting people over $400,000 is just an out-and-out lie, in my opinion. And I have many opinions. I'm kind of opinionated. A little bit. Let's see what's going on in the news before we go to the last segment. Two things I want to find out. There's the audit. They're not telling me what happened at the audit. And then I wanted to also find out about, I think the Cubs are losing their shirts again. I did go to a game this week. I did. And I got to tell you, I'll talk about it on the show. Oh, they made the big comeback. It was 6-0. Now it's 8-5. I love it. Thanks so much, Josh. I'm here with Josh, Joliet Josh, our technical producer. And, I wanted to mention we generally talk about sports in this segment. I know Josh is a huge NFL guy, NBA guy. And so it's like every night there's an NFL game on now. Used to be right. You'd wait till the end of the year, then Thursday they would punch in. Imagine me when I was growing up. You had 12 o'clock games and 3 o'clock games. That's it. And then when they got the Monday Night Football, that was huge. Now Monday Night Football is like, does anybody even watch Monday Night Football except for you? I did make it out to the ballpark. I had a friend of mine, the guy that we shared tickets. It was his birthday on the 20th. Happy birthday, Johnny. And he's also a regular listener of our show. And then on the 21st, that was the last tickets that we had available for the year. And he and I hadn't gone to a game all year. First time in 30 years we hadn't gone to a game. And that's no exaggeration. It's our 30th year. So we went to a game on the 21st. It was a beautiful night. I sat in my seats and I recognized this is the peace I get at Wrigley Field. And it just was, it reminded me why I've been such a long time season ticket holder. Yes, I like to see the Cubs win, but it's really just sitting at Wrigley watching baseball is it's just a dream. It's like, and it is kind of a peaceful place for me. I sometimes when I walk up those stairs and then I see the field, it's just like, as long as I have an old cell in my hand. So it was good. I'm very happy I made it out there again. And it reminds me, I guess I'm in next year. That's what I told John, because we were debating, do we go in the next year? Everybody's bailing. I hate what they did this year because they sold us out. But I think I'll be in for another year. That's what I guess they wanted me to go one more time on a beautiful day, and I did, and it was just beautiful. So anyway, I'm probably in next year, John, if you're listening. We talked a little bit about it, but so we had a great time. So Wrigley's always a great place. I wonder sometimes, am I a Cub fan or am I a Wrigley Field fan? And that's really, if the Cubs moved to Arlington Heights, would I follow them? If the Bears moved to Arlington Heights, I will follow them. I used to be against, but now I'm going Arlington Heights. Woo woo! It's closer to my house. So we got the Notre Dame playing. Oh, that's yesterday. I forgot. It's tomorrow. Yesterday, same thing. So anyway, we're next week. I want you to join us next week here on IRS Radio Hour. I forget who my guest is on the Trust Radio. Oh, next week the Trust Radio Network has attorney Jim Maurici. He's a construction negligence and personal injury attorney, trial attorney, and that's what makes him so powerful. So join us on Saturday at 7:00 for the Trust Radio Network with our guest is attorney Jim Maurici. And next Sunday, of course, the IRS Radio Hour, brought to you by Opum Tax Advocates and the Law Office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC. You can contact us at 312-664-6649. Again, it's 312-664-6649. Stay tuned for Shalom Klein and get down to business. And we'll see you next week here on the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer. Well, that was fun. Actually, every week when I come in, I'm thinking, can it be as much fun as it was last week? And it is. So I always have fun on the radio. My wife says, you should just go to podcasts. Nah, I don't think so. I think I'll stick with the radio for a little bit. Now, last Saturday, was it last Saturday? Yeah, last Saturday I was on David Hochberg's show on Saturday on WGN, the Home Sweet Home Chicago show. I was on that show last week. So I love to be on the radio. Love me some David Hochberg, as my friend Joe Walsh used to say. Love me some Steve Leahy. So. I remember. I do miss Joe, even if the audience does not. I know. I saw him say something about Millie the other day, and I'm just like, wait, I was going to text him, but I was going to say something. I never go on Twitter. I saw they put his tweet on some page that I was watching. I was going to go on, but I typed something and I just erased that. I'm not doing that. I read so if you go to some of his tweets and you read some of the responses, people are nasty. I don't want to be one of the nasty ones. I like Joe, so I don't want to be nasty. Even if he has lost it. I do. I'm gonna tell you what my friend here, Jim Maurici, is he and I are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, and yes, we are, and so sometimes he'll argue with me about it. But I tell you about him again. This is how much I liked him. He ran for state senate, and I worked for him, and I tried to get him elected. Well, he did mention, I don't want to argue. It's like, because again, we start talking politics. It's not an argument, but we have different views, and we hold them. We both hold them strongly. So and here's the other. I saw him. We went and had a drink a couple weeks ago, and after he left, he texted me some memes. And I had to tell him because I'm not on Facebook anymore. So he used to get on Facebook and do some stuff like that on Facebook, kind of get my goat. And now that I'm not on Facebook, he starts sending me on my text. And I told him, better be careful, Jim. I'll start sending you those too. And he said, thanks for the warning. So he didn't send me anymore. So I don't want any more of that stuff. I don't want to argue with him about it. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And we'll have another more fun next Friday. Now, don't forget, I got the podcast every day about 6:15 on watchtalkradio.com and on our Facebook and YouTube station. So join us, won't you? Thanks a lot. Aha! Out.